What's going on, guys? Today I'm bringing you a Rust base design unlike any I've ever brought you before. This base includes a lot of amenities that most solo bases don't include, like a courtyard for a large furnace, a cheeky respawn point that serves as a flank in the event of an online raid, an external TC so raiders have to spend extra rockets to grief your base, usable honeycomb so no building block goes wasted. It also has a roof bunker added in to increase the cost of a door raid. On top of all this, it has a lot of storage space for its small, compact nature. The best part about it though, in my opinion, is that its awkward outer appearance will leave people wondering if you're a fucking dumbass or if you're a goddamn genius. No one will know for sure. Anyway, let's get into the tour and the specs. Alright, so as you can probably tell, this is the external TC pod. I've made it so it's protected equally from all angles, so it doesn't really matter where they go in. You can also beef up the protection if you'd like. I would probably recommend this if you end up getting any mass loot. Here's the entrance. Got some drop boxes on the right for some quick storage. One of these could easily be replaced by a shotgun trap, by the way. I'd probably recommend doing that. And directly behind us, we've got a respawn room or bedroom, whatever you want to call it. I think it's out of the way. Like, there's no way in hell anyone's raiding into this room, first of all, if it's an online raid, unless they know that's where your bedroom is, which hopefully they don't. And here we've got your large furnace, protected by a wall and some barricades on the roof. We've also got a ton of drop boxes in here as well. As you can see, this little compound area for the large furnace is super compact. Literally nothing else will fit in there, even small boxes. You got a little lookout area right here. You can pick up these windows if you want to shoot out of them. You can also pick up the embrasures if you want to hop out of the window. Sneaky.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
I see that.
Just in case someone's door camping you. So we'll move closer into the main core. This is where the two separate buildings come together. As you can see, there's the gap, but you can't really see or shoot through the top gap because of the garage door and the wall frames. This room can serve as like a little utility room. We've got our research table in this instance and some other boxes for unimportant items. Now we move into the bunker room. But first, before we look at that, we have some more drop boxes behind this garage door and a little bit of furnaces behind some usable honeycomb. So yeah, moving on. Unfortunately, we can't open these bunkers from the outside anymore without making them a half wall taller, which we don't want to do in this situation because we want to stay compact. So in this base, we have to go inside to open it through a bag. Obviously that box can't fit there, but yeah, that's how you open it up. It's that easy. All you do is place a triangle roof right there, and it'll open half of the roof for you to jump out of. These shotgun traps are angled so that when anyone tries to hop into your bunker over the twig, they're gonna fire, and then it'll either close the bunker and seal them out, or they'll fall in and they'll die to the shotgun traps. Roll the clip. Behind 4 more garage doors will take you to the TC. We've got all of our main loot storage right here. Sorry about all the small boxes, some of you don't like them, I know, but we've got our TC, and here's your upkeep. It's pretty goddamn cheap if you ask me. But yeah, boys, let's get into the rest of the specs and some raid cost. First thing I want to talk about is how cheap this upkeep actually is when you think about it. We'll round up and say 1500 stone and 1700 metal frags and only 19 high quality metal. Even with just one large furnace, getting 1700 metal is a walk in the park, especially if you live in an area rich with nodes. Next, the build cost. What you see on the screen is literally everything you'll need to complete every deployable and all the build pieces of this base. The best part about this Rust base design is that it's built in steps, so you can start with the starter unit on the first day of wipe and then expand at your own pace. It's also very wide, so it's harder to splash out multiple rooms at once. If you spread your loot and kits throughout the entire base, it's very unlikely that they'll actually take the time to raid the whole thing unless you really fucked them over. They'd also have to raid both TCs in order to grief you, so your chances at an easy rebuild are pretty high. The cheapest way into the TC room is about 19 rockets. And like I said, if you spread your loot throughout the rest of the base, it'll increase the cost even more. Now that we've gotten this introduction out of the way, let's talk about who this base is actually for. This base is for someone who doesn't piss off large clans. This base is for the solo player who likes to remain somewhat low-key. This is for someone who PvP's enough to piss a couple people off, but not enough to piss everyone off, if you know what I mean. If you find a nice flat spot in between rad towns, nodes, and the road, then this base will be an absolute beast for you. But my god, was that a long intro, boys. Let's get right into the build. Alright, so we're going to start by laying down the foundations as I do right here. Upgrade them all to stone and add walls like this. Upgrade all the walls to stone if you have the materials. If not, wood is okay for the time being. TC goes right in the corner here, flat against both walls. Then you can arrange your starter unit like this. Both of your front doors should be wooden double doors, so make sure they're opening inwards towards each other, and it'll create a little airlock with the level 1 workbench. Once you acquire the necessary materials from door camping your neighbor and killing nakeds on the beach, you can expand your foundations just like I do here. Upgrade all of these bad boys to stone and then start adding walls as I do here. The raised foundation is how you make your bunker, so just make sure you add it just as I do. We're going to half wall honeycomb it so no one can soft side it and crouch walk through the gap. Don't worry about upgrading exactly as I do, we'll go over all the final upgrades at the end of the video. You can upgrade at whatever material that you feel comfortable spending. Once you've walled off your expansion, just add some roofs like this and a front door and you're ready to insert your bunker. But first, you have to finish your main loot room. You can pick up your old furnaces and move them outside to your new addition into the triangle right behind the TC room. Seal them off with a window if you already have the strengthened glass window BP. Replace the small boxes in your soon to be main loot room with one large box. Then go outside and place a triangle shelf through the wall. Come back inside and upgrade that and then add the boxes onto your top shelf. We have to do this before we install the bunker, otherwise the roof will block the placement of the boxes on the top shelf. Place a roof just like this and upgrade it to whatever material the walls around it are. Place one large storage box in the corner, then place one shotgun trap going straight forward and one angled towards the entrance of the bunker. This will create the automatic bunker seal. Since we used a raised foundation next to this square, we're able to place a triangle roof like that, which opens the roof up. Place down a wall frame here so we can use a double door to see these furnaces off from the front door. When your bunker's open, people will be able to see the twig roof peeking out the top, so you have to cover it up with honeycomb. Also, if you put a half wall directly above the tip of the roof that creates your bunker, then the bunker won't open anymore, so make sure you don't do that. While you're up here, it might be a good idea to just honeycomb the entire roof. Piss off a large group and they decide to come online raid you and you only have one layer of roof, they'll be able to just splash off the entire thing. At this point we'll be adding some more storage because, let's be honest, you'll definitely need it. It's important to note that you can pick up all these boxes, but make sure that you have doors in these doorways before you place your vending machines. Ideally, I would wait to place these vending machines until you've gotten garage doors. You can stuff some large boxes in there for the time being if you don't have garage door yet. Basically, you're just stuffing a small box in literally any spot it'll fit. Now go outside and honeycomb every single wall that's inside the bunker. You can start by using stone honeycomb outside your bunker, but you're going to want to work your way up to double sheet metal honeycomb for the optimal rocket cost. Once you get your large furnace going, it should be pretty easy to get all those metal frags. Speaking of a large furnace, I think it's about that time to add our next TC, boys. To do that, locate the raised triangle foundation outside your front door that creates our roof bunker. Build off one triangle from that, and then build out 8 squares. After you've built out 8 squares, put one triangle at the end, and then start deleting the squares while building back with triangles. Use your building privilege to destroy the triangles as you go back too, so you don't have to use tools or guns to shoot out the foundations that you no longer need. If you're new to building and you're not quite sure what we're doing, we're adding a second TC so that way the building privileges will overlap. If somebody raids your base, they won't be able to seal the breach unless they destroy both of your tool cupboards. That'll make it harder for them to secure the loot they stole from you, and it'll also make it easier for you to rebuild if you still want to come back to the server after you get raided. Once you made it back here, build off so that one square is about to touch the tip of your raised triangle foundation. Then delete the other triangles and then add 2 more squares. Next, add wall frames as I do here, and upgrade all of them to stone. These 2 squares are going to end up being your entrance / bedroom, so just finish off that structure and then we have to place down the actual TC itself. Just build out a couple triangles for your main entrance, get rid of the extra ones and then upgrade the following to stone. Once you're outside of the building range of the main tool cupboard, you'll be able to place an external tool cupboard. On the most far out triangles, then you can build a little TC house. There's so many ways to do this, man, but I just built a little stone rhombus that's protected by, stone walls, a garage door, and a sheet metal single door. Also, don't let anyone kill you while they're doing this, they'll grief the shit out of you. The triangles touching tips don't technically count as the same building, so you have to use wall frames to connect all of these foundations together. After this, we'll go over to our front door and start building off as I do here. Right now, we're going to create our little Dropbox storage area / courtyard. Another thing to note, when you're using 2 separate buildings and trying to make them as close together as possible, you're only able to touch each separate building by the tip. Once you've verified that you're indeed only touching tips, then you can start placing your walls and everything should work. Honestly, this part is totally up to you. If you would rather just reinforce that area with walls and no windows, then that's totally cool. I like to have windows. I like to be able to see what's going on around my base. So as you can see, there's some small gaps in your roof and wall, but all you have to do to cover those up is add some stone wall frames, and they're thick enough to block anyone from shooting through. And when you place a garage door, you literally can't even see through the gaps, so there's how that works. You can also place a door on your floating wall frame. Don't forget to add windows and embrasures to your base. Don't forget to add the window and embrasure in your bedroom as well. Add 2 double doors opening inward as your entrance. Also, yeah, I made a mistake here. This is supposed to be a triangle for your drop boxes. And make sure you roof all of these off. And inside this next room, this last area will be your bedroom, so definitely slap a door onto that as well. Whichever way you want to open it. I like it outward. And that's about it for building the outer area. We just have to put down our furnace and our wall and our barricades to keep the grubs out. Place another unit of honeycomb right over here just so the wall will connect better to both of your buildings. It's really important that you place the furnace before you place the high wall, otherwise you won't be able to fit the furnace in. To place the furnace, just stand back kind of far and move your screen around, and eventually you'll be able to fit it. For the wall, just walk forward until it's touching both of your honeycomb slots. We're not done yet. Now we have to secure the furnace by placing some barricades around on the roof. No grubs are getting in here, boys. And finally, the upgrades. You want everything in your main loot room to be protected by armored walls and protected by a garage door, of course. Everything inside your bunker other than that should be sheet metal. Everything outside your bunker can just be left stone. It doesn't really matter too much. Other than this, there's only a couple more important areas to make sure that you upgrade. You should make these 2 square foundations that make up your bedroom and your entrance metal. If raiders get access to the courtyard, they can splash them out with rockets or explosive ammo and pretty much open up the entire second half of your base. Also, you have to make sure that this triangle right here is metal. People can soft side these triangle foundations to make the wall frames collapse that connect the TC to the rest of the structure. Also, make sure that everything in your furnace is double sheet metal honeycombed. It might sound expensive, but you got that large furnace for a reason, boys. Pretty much gonna do it for this base build, guys. Hope you enjoyed this rest base design. Don't worry, I'm gonna be coming out with a V2 Chad edition any day now, honestly, so stay tuned for that, and peace out, boys.